a court, and you have to go to the court to get a warrant before you listen to anybody. If you think people don't cheat on that, I got a bridge I want to sell you. If you think they're really worried when there's a week hiatus in something that's happened now, well, I don't know, maybe it's going to be a couple weeks, I don't know, until they get back off. They had to go down. I'm sure they went down. If you think everybody plays it by the books on the inside, you know, you're wrong. They cheat. They cheat. Why not? They can. Who's going to catch them? They cheat. In the military, I know cases where a guy got mad at his sergeant and this is in the war, recent war, bought an RPG into a tent and killed a bunch of people in trying to kill his sergeant, and they covered it up. Because why? Because the command doesn't want a court-martial on its record. No court-martials mean you get a better chance for promotion. If you have court-martials on your record, it looks like you're not doing your job. The SEALs have gotten away with murder on this for years. I mean, almost literally.
Bob Woodward has often said publicly that to journalists, you do your best work in defiance of management. Well, of course, he meant me when he said that. What's your relationship with editors?
Are you kidding? I've left 3 major jobs and everybody's cheered. It's just a reality. At the AP, I was on the investigations team, and I did a big investigation of something, and they didn't want to run it. I don't know. That was just a real problem. And they ended up running. They didn't dare kill it, but they ran it at 1 o'clock on the wire, on the A wire, at 1 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I mean, come on. And I went nuts. The hell with you? But so you know, it's just. I have a thesis, and please don't. It's not about you. My thesis is that I watch it at the New York Times, and this is the New York Times. I don't know anything about the New York Times then, but I worked for there 8 or 9 years, halcyon years. You cannot believe how wonderful it was to work in the 70s for a major newspaper when you had not only the Pentagon Papers showing how much lying there was officially, you had Watergate, you had the devaluation of a president, totally. I will posture that Clinton didn't do such a bad job himself. But devaluation, so you were free to run. You were just free. And the editors were with you because the whole country was with you. So there was a period, there'll never be a day like this. There was just story after story you could get in the paper. And not, you know, I know a lot about how some of the, it doesn't matter. So I don't want to get into current things, but a lot which I have no first-hand knowledge. But I watch promotions, and it's always true. It's, you know, the corporations are corporations, and it's always the tepid ones that get, the ones that they know they can handle will become the editors. As I say, it's not about you. He and I met each other our first days on my first day of the job. I met you the first day. We were covering some crazy event in 1964. There was you were first day on this. Did you start the paper in 64?
As a summer intern.
Yeah, and it was the summer of 64. I was covering something. My first day for the AP in Washington. It was
memory.
We met the first day. You don't remember this?
No, I don't remember this.
Oh my God.
Sorry. My memory's not as good as yours.
You and I talked about this. That's bad.
Okay.
It's like my wife the other week. We were talking about a 30-year-old movie, and she recalled that movie. And she's almost as old as I am. She recalled the movie for something of 35-year-old memory, and the next day we couldn't remember what it was she remembered. It's like that joke about roses, the rose joke. Everybody knows that one.
So are editors useful at all to you? I mean, you've
Sure.
written books, there are book editors, you write for magazines, there are magazine editors, newspaper editors. What are they good for?
Oh my God.
For all these folks out here who deal with editors and producers and stuff.
A good editor is fantastic. And at the New York Times and at the New Yorker is halcyon because even though I fight with Remnick about a lot of stuff, the editing.
David Remnick, editor of the New Yorker, former Russian Post reporter.
Yeah, wrote a wonderful book on Russia.
Yes.
And you know, I disagree with him on a million things, but the editing is brilliant. They have fact checking that's deadly serious. My sources, I cannot have a source that won't talk to a fact checker. Even with the London Review, it's complicated because they have to have somebody in America. Can't be overseas talking to somebody. So the people I know will talk. I've given up people that won't talk. And some of them.
What do you mean given up?
I won't use them.
Okay.
I won't talk to a fact checker.
Okay.
Even though sometimes it's very hurtful because I know what they're telling me is good. And they just don't, they don't want talking to me, but they don't trust the fact-checking system, which has never been, it's been violated as far as I know everywhere.
Right, so your anonymous sources are known, the identities are known to your
Oh my
editor and to your fact checker.
When I joined the New York Times in '72, I wasn't wanted by the Washington Bureau Chief Max Frankel. He thought I was peddling my line. That's fair. I mean, he would not disagree with it. You know, there was no urge to take. Neil Sheehan kept on trying to get on the newspaper, but Abe Rosenthal hired me. And Abe was. What can I tell you about Abe Rosenthal? I'll just tell you one story because you got to know. Abe Rosenthal was a great editor, and the fact that Ben Bradley had done so well killed him. But in 1976, we moved to New York, and I was leaving Washington. I came to New York, and here I'm coming in there, star boy, coming into New York to be a reporter, and there was a teacher strike. My wife was starting medical school late. I had 2 kids, 9 and 7 and 5, and there was this teacher strike, also a garbage strike that week, 76 maybe. And so the first day I'm showing up to New York, I bring my 2 kids with me because my wife started school already. It's you know, first week of med school, panic time, state panic time. Anyway, and we took the subway. It was showing on the subway. We just got into Washington, New York rather, and I'm in the lobby, and in walks Abe Rosenthal. What's this? He said. I said, well, babysitting. I said, well, you know how it is. It's the first day, and you know, somebody's going to show me where my office is, and we're not set up. No, he said, well, no problem, it's okay. And I had an office in the back, and 2 hours later, I don't know what I was doing, just there. My boy I was behind the sports department. He was bouncing balls with one of the sports reporters. You know how they are, they're crazy, tennis rackets. And the 5-year-old was drawing, my daughter was drawing. Abe, I look up, there's Abe in the doorway. And he said, Seymour, always call me Sonny. He said, Seymour, I said, what's up? He said, let me ask you one question, he said. What do you think would have happened on that fateful day 2,000 years ago if Mrs. Moses had said to Moses, you got to stay home and take care of the kids today? I kid you not. I said, what? He was so pissed off. I said, I don't know, Abe. I just wonder. Walk back. So it was idiosyncratic in a way that it isn't now. It was idiosyncratic.
Right.
I shouldn't say that. Maybe it's still the same way. Who knows?
No, there are kids in newsrooms all the time now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was exciting because he was a wacko, and you know, he'd come into the Washington Bureau. How's my little commie today? And then the next sentence would be, what do you have for me?
Yes.
I wanted those stories. So it doesn't matter. You know something, this whole myth that you and I fight about
Yes.
reporters should be objective and not even, you said